6 on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. My name is Chioma Innocent, and here are the top stories. Canada names Nigeria and 16 African countries in high-risk travel advisory. Bandit strike Kwara community, abduct 11 residents. Deputy Speaker proposes penalty for government officials who negotiate ransom. And the Abia government seals President Tinubu's campaign office in Umuahia. Details now. Thank you for staying tuned. The world news at 6 begins outside the shores of Nigeria, where the Canadian government has issued one of its most sweeping travel risk updates in recent years, warning citizens against traveling to 17 African countries over rising insecurity, political instability, and extremist violence. VOP News gathered that the advisories released between November 13 and 15, 2025 formed part of a broader reassessment covering 34 countries globally, according to Global Affairs Canada. Canadian authorities said the revised advisories were informed by worsening armed conflict, fragile political transitions, and unpredictable security conditions across several regions in Africa. 8 African nations were placed in the avoid all travel category due to insurgencies, militant attacks, and breakdown of political order. Canada cited multiple triggers, including expanding extremist network in the Sahel and Horn of Africa, military coups and unstable transitions, communal clashes and mass protests, cross-border criminal activity, weak governance, and fragile state control. Some of the countries included in these advisory are South Sudan, Burkina Faso, Central African Republic, Libya, Mali, Niger, Somalia, Sudan, Madagascar, Ethiopia, Burundi, Chad, Democratic Republic of Congo, Eritrea, Mauritania, Nigeria, and Tanzania. In the tragic development back home in Nigeria, bandits have struck the Isakpa community of Ekiti local government area of Kwara State, abducting 11 residents. The gunmen, numbering more than 20, stormed the community with a large herd of cattle on Monday, firing shots indiscriminately. An elderly woman was reportedly hit by a stray bullet during the incident. A community leader who confirmed the incident under anonymity said that 11 people were abducted, with 7 victims belonging to the same family. The kidnapped victims include a pregnant woman, 2 nursing mothers, and several young children. The latest attack on the Sakwa community comes about 2 weeks after gunmen struck the Christ Apostolic Church CAC in Eruku, an area in the same local government area. The Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, is proposing penalties in the next 6 months for government officials who negotiate ransom payments. Kalu spoke today at the lower chamber's special session on national security, saying a legislative action is needed from the federal government and security agencies. A move to make that happen will help in addressing insecurity in Nigeria. He also called for better policing, suggesting that the speeding up of the process for the creating of state or local police. According to him, with the use of modern equipment, Nigeria's security agencies, especially the police, can better address crimes in Nigeria. The session came in the wake of heightened insecurity in the country, especially in recent weeks where gunmen have abducted school children and worshippers in parts of Nigeria. The presidency has strongly condemned former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi for endorsing a foreign invasion of Nigeria. This was sequel to Obi's remarks about American President Donald Trump's threat to deploy U.S. military forces to fight terrorists in Nigeria. In a post on X, formerly called Twitter, Bayo Ononuga, the special advisor to the president on information and strategy, said, "We shall never forget or forgive Peter Obi for supporting a foreign invasion of Nigeria." Ononuga's comment came in response to remarks Obi made at an event where he condemned the Nigerian government for downplaying alleged Christian genocide and the deteriorating insecurity in the country. The role comes amid a broader international controversy after U.S. President Donald Trump threatened military action in Nigeria, citing what he described as large-scale killings of Christians in the country. The Abia state government has shut down the campaign office belonging to President Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope Partners (RHP) in Umuahia, the state capital. Located on Ojike Street, the office was sealed by the Ministry of Lands and Housing, according to a notice posted at the entrance. The sealed office is one of the structures used by the Renewed Hope Partners, a political network promoting President Tinubu's agenda in the southeast and driven by the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Kalu. According to an RHP officials who spoke but requested anonymity, staff were completely taken by surprise. He explained that he arrived for work only to meet the office barricaded with an enforcement notice. The official also said there was no prior communication or warning from the state government before the action was carried out. A document pasted at the entrance by the Ministry of Lands and Housing stated that the property was sealed for allegedly violating tax regulations under the Abia State Tax Law Codification and Consolidation Law Number 7 of 2020. The notice read that the building is in contravention of sections 41 and 100 of the Abia State Tax Law and is hereby sealed. It further warned that any person who attempts to unseal the building is in contravention of the Abia State Tax Law. Government officials have not issued a statement addressing the development or explaining whether the sealing is temporary or part of a larger enforcement operation. The Renewed Hope Partners, which has been expanding its presence in the southeast, recently intensified outreach activities in Abia, strengthening its grassroots structures and holding strategy meetings across the state. In a recent development, President Bola Tinubu has appointed Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma as the Renewed Hope Ambassador ahead of the national inauguration of the federal government Ward Development Program. In a statement by the presidential spokesperson, Bayo Ononuga, today in Abuja, the president said Uzodinma would also serve as a Director General for Party Outreach, Engagement and Mobilization. In the new role, which takes immediate effect, Governor Uzodinma will work with the All Progressives Congress APC leadership and governors to promote the Tinubu administration's programs nationwide. As Renewed Hope Ambassador, the governor, who chairs the Progressive Governors Forum, is expected to ensure harmony, inclusiveness and strategic coordination across all party structures while driving mobilization and public engagement. He will collaborate with APC governors who will also serve as ambassadors of hope. The president urged Governor Uzodinma and his colleagues to intensify efforts in disseminating his administration's achievements since 2023 and reinforcing the message of renewed hope across the country. He was also urged to ensure that Nigerians understand the progress being recorded across sectors. You're currently tuned into the World News at 6 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We'll take a very short break and return with the news analysis segment, where I'll be joined by Dr. Peter Anosike to help us explain the issues in the news this evening. Just stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still listening to the World News at 6 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. The Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, has ordered all public senior secondary schools in Abuja, the nation's capital, to shut down on or before Friday, November 28, citing urgent security concerns. The Director of School Services, FCT Secondary Education Board, Aishatu Sani Al-Hazan, disclosed this in a memo today. According to the memo, principals and head of schools were instructed to end all academic activities immediately and ensure students are dismissed in an orderly and safe manner. According to the memo, principals and head of schools were instructed to end all academic activities, and schools have also been ordered to notify learners, staff and parents, adjust all scheduled academic activities and prepare to resume on the next official school day unless new directives are issued. The development is coming on the heels of attacks on schools in parts of the country, which has resulted in the mass abduction of students. Joining me to discuss issues on the World News at 6, I have Dr. Peter Anosike. Thank you so much for joining me today. Good evening to you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you so much for coming. It's a lot of issues in the news today, but I want us to actually start with what Bayo Ononuga posted on his X platform, saying in his words, it says, we will never forget or forgive Peter Obi for supporting a foreign invasion of Nigeria. Now, I want us to take a listen to what Peter Obi actually said, that he claims is him welcoming Trump's military invasion into Nigeria. This is actually in the wake of the different issues of insecurity that has been bedeviling the country in recent years. Let's take a listen.
Please, it's not genocide. Please, it's not this. But to me, I'm not safe. Come and help. Somebody offered you something you've been looking for. If you know going to start debating, what is it? Oh yes, me and my wife are living, we are hungry. Somebody discovered, oh, Peter Obi and his family can no longer eat. You are saying no, it's not true. And we ate in the morning, but the one of the afternoon, collect the food first. And then you know how you can ration it. That's what it is. That's my reaction. What I'll do, I would have gone, if today you declare me president, I can tell you, number one priority is security of life and property. Number two priority is to put people out of poverty. Because the more you put people out of poverty, the more you reduce criminality. Number three is to invest in education. It is critical for a basic education. There are millions of people out of school today. A child that is 5 years, 10 years today, if you not educate, will become a terrorist and a problem for you in 20 years time. So invest in him now. Now you have the opportunity. Invest in health. All these people are moving around stealing public money. They don't need it. They only bring you headache to your life. So that's my reaction to Trump. For me, it's a welcome speech, and I would have been begging him.
All right, that was Peter Obi actually addressing some people in a hall and spoke about what he thinks of Trump's invasion. What do you make of what Peter Obi said and of Bayo Onanuga's response to it, saying we shall never forget or forgive Peter Obi for supporting a foreign invasion of Nigeria? Is it wrong to welcome outside help at this point?
I am 100% in support of Peter Obi because Nigeria's security has failed. As we speak, 5 states in the country has shut down schools without exams. 5 states. This shows that we are surrendering to the bandits. This shows that bandits are winning this war. Because if not, why are we shutting down schools? It means that we cannot protect our children anymore. We cannot more protect our schools anymore. And somebody offered you help. And you are saying that you have a sovereignty. Sovereignty, every day of the week, you are going to borrow money. Every day of the month, you are going that's cap in hand, begging for money. Somebody who claims to have sovereignty cannot beg. Somebody who has sovereignty can feed himself, but right now we cannot protect ourselves, we cannot feed ourselves. So Bayo Onanuga is a bitter person, understand? So Tinubu just managed to rehabilitate him, so he just doing everything to show that he is that he merits the rehabilitation. Because I know that even his newspapers, he cannot run them. So this is just a rehabilitation, and he's just trying to do an overkill. He will not forgive Peter Obi. I will not forgive Bayo Onanuga.
Why you will not forgive Bayo Onanuga for what? How did he offend you?
How he offended me? Do you remember his statement after the 2023 election about the Igbos? So we have not even forgiven him. He should know that. Or no, silence is not cowardice. Silence is not stupidity. At the fullness of time, everything will come into manifestation. So I'm full in support of P2B because Nigeria has failed in terms of protecting their schools. Bandits are winning this war, and we need help from America, from any part of the world. Okay, what Canada just did is not a Donald Trump thing. So the information is everywhere in the world that we cannot protect ourselves. Every day of the week, Nigerians are being traumatized because of insecurity. And imagine one stupid post that Onanuga made, that DSS contacted the bandits that kidnapped the 38 worshippers in Kwara and they release them.
You can actually say what you want to say without using insulting words. Saying
No, how does that sound in your ears?
As much as I understand where you're coming
how
from.
How does that sound in your
I want
ears?
us to focus on the analysis of what is being said.
That DSS sent a message to the bandits, which means DSS has their numbers. Which means DSS is working hand in hand with them. So DSS contacted them and they released those bandits. Okay, let DSS also send a message to those that kidnapped the KB and Niger State students. Since DSS have numbers of the bandits and they keep on abducting students, so they don't reason what they say. They don't at all reason. They are in a haste to make Tinubu happy that they cannot even sit down for a minute and say what will be the implication of putting this information on air.
But some Nigerians are saying that the fact that these people have been released is what is most important, and not how they went about the release, even if they did not come out to tell Nigerians that a ransom was paid or not. Are you not more concerned that these people are home with their families, although it remains to be seen just how secure people are in their homes?
Imagine Abuja, which should be the most secured part of the country, that schools are being shut down. If Abuja can be shut down, then there's no part of the country that is safe, because force headquarters is in Abuja. So if Abuja students cannot be protected, is it people in Ogun State? Is it people in Akwa Ibom? So this simply shows you that we have failed in the area of security and in other areas in every other area.
So the reason why you're saying now that Bayo Onanuga is wrong with saying we in this context, we don't know, but we are ascribing it to the presidency since he worked for the president as his information, as his special advisor on information and strategy. So the we in this context, we cannot really tell if the we is him and maybe members of his family, or it's him and the presidency, is him and the president's cabinet. We don't know who is the federal government.
He is speaking on behalf of somebody.
Who is this person? Is it the president that he works for?
He is an employee of an employer.
All right.
So when he say we, he's talking about him and his boss.
If you did not support Trump's military invasion or Trump's talks of invading Nigeria with the U.S. military to save Nigerian Christians from this alleged genocide, would you still support what Peter Obi was saying, or support what Bayo Onanuga is saying? Because Bayo Onanuga is saying we'll never forgive him. He's an opposition politician. One could say that Bayo Onanuga is just playing politics of opposition here.
It is not. You don't make reckless statements. You don't make unguarded statements. That is reckless statement. We cannot forgive. Understand? We cannot forgive for saying what? The truth. Nigeria need Trump like yesterday, because we have failed to protect our students. We have failed to protect our children. We have failed to protect our mothers. So we need America to come and help us. We need them. If we can help ourselves, we wouldn't be shutting down schools. If we can help ourselves, we would not be shutting down schools. So it that we are shutting down schools is let parents take responsibility if their children are being kidnapped. That's simply what it means. Let us send these students to their parents. So if they are kidnapped, it will be on the head of their parents, not on the head of government.
So you don't believe that these are security measures? Because even in Lagos,
this is surrendering to bandits.
The police has been dispatched to worship centers, schools, mosques, markets, and gatherings. Where
this is surrendering
ahead of December.
This is surrendering that we cannot protect our students because bandits are on the rampage. There's no other way to interpret it. There's no other way to interpret it. We have succumbed to the threat of the bandits.
While we're talking about these issues, there was a report earlier today that the worshippers fled a church crusade in Nasarawa as some herdsmen actually disrupted it. And then there's been a running commentary on and off social media about how Nigeria seems to be unfair to the Fulani people, especially as it seems that anyone who is involved in terrorism is now being painted as a Fulani headsman. In fact, there's a movie that came out very recently, and in that movie, some people were kidnapped, and the way they were kidnapped was cows blocked the road. They were trying to move ahead with their vehicle. These were people who were coming back from a wedding. And then some headsmen, some terrorists came out of the bush and kidnapped all of those people. So they used the cows as a diversion. Would you say that Nigeria is currently being unfair to the people of Fulani, the Fulani ethnic group, because of this terrorism?
Well, for me, I don't always paint people with the same brush. Because everywhere, there are good Igbos, there are bad Igbos, there are good Yorubas, there are bad Yorubas. They are good they are bad Fulanese, they are excellent Fulanese. So I don't like painting everybody with the same brush. The issue is you don't make movies to depict a whole people as being wicked, as being bad. We have wonderful Fulanese, we have terrible Fulanese. So I've not seen that movie, and I don't see it as a good one. It's not every Fulani that is a bandit. It's not every Fulani that is a terrorist. We even have Fulani professors. We have Fulani professors, so they are very, very well enlightened Fulanis.
So if the Fulani people come out to say, oh, we are being marginalized, this is not fair because of what is happening, we are being painted with the same brush. If they come out now, like people like Bashir Ahmed came out and said that this is wrong, even before watching the movie. And then when he watched the movie, he changed his mind and then said, oh, okay, it's not as bad as I thought it was.
Yes, I've not watched that movie.
So how do we ensure that that the greater number of people that are representing a group are not the one doing something evil, so that they don't give that group a bad name?
So that's why the wise English people came out with that word, some. Do you understand me? Some Fulanese, some Yorubas, some Igbos, just to differentiate that it is not everybody. To differentiate that it is not everybody. I know that Fulanis are characterized with cattle, but it's not every Fulani that is a cattle rearer. We have Fulanis who are professors, who are judges. But the issue is that some of them are giving the others bad names, as if every Fulani is a cattle rearer. No. It's not so. They are wonderful Fulanis.
All right, let's move away from this conversation for a while and talk about President Bola Tinubu appointing Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma as the renewed Hope Ambassador. One thing that struck me when I saw this particular news report was that we still don't have ambassadors for consulates outside Nigeria, but we have a renewed Hope Ambassador, and part of his role is to promote this administration's programs nationwide, to ensure that Nigerians understand the progress that the administration is making across all sectors.
Which they must include giving Nnamdi Kanu life sentence. It's one of the achievements of this government.
So it's one of the renewed Hope initiatives.
It's one of the achievements of this government. Giving an innocent man life sentence. So the issue is this: when Uzodinma's name is mentioned, you know what comes to mind.
What comes to mind?
Credibility jumps out of the window. Integrity jumps out of the window. So we know where they are going. Then talking about ambassadors, when Donald Trump first sent that message, they begin to talk about ambassadors, because all over the world we don't have anybody speaking for us. We don't have anybody representing us, which is very, very bad. And that's why you cannot counter any information that America has, because they have their people on ground in Nigeria. But whatever information they have, there's nobody in America that they will relate, that ask about the information. So I don't know why a country as big as Nigeria don't have ambassador since the 2.5 years of Tinubu's administration. But appointing also them shows you that they are thinking of 2027 more than any other thing. They are thinking of 2027 more than any other thing. Even 2027 is even more important to them than these school girls being kidnapped. Because assuming it's a sensible government, assuming it's a reasoning government, they should have just put politics aside and curb this insecurity. They shouldn't have been doing this appointment while we don't know where 251 girls from Niger State school is. We don't know where
nursery and primary students.
We don't know where the one that were kidnapped from KB is. If they are reasoning, if they have empathy, they should have just wait until these people are reunited with their children before politics continue. But they don't care. They don't care because it is not their children.
It's very unfortunate because you know that this issue of terrorism is actually also touching the APC. There was a chieftain from, I think it was Kwara State, that was actually killed by these terrorists about 3 weeks ago, while coming back from a meeting with the Minister of State for Defense, that's Bello Matawale. He was coming back from a meeting that he attended, that Matawale also attended, and he was accosted by these terrorists and then killed. So it's also touching them. Why do you think that it seems that we're still refusing, although it's not like Nigeria is really refusing the help, because yes, they were told by the President Sibaya Nonoga as well that the US will partner with Nigeria to provide defense.
So what is done wrong with what Peter Obi said?
No, a military invasion is different from a partnership to provide equipment and to provide help. Is it not?
Peter Obi said that America should come and help us. Peter Obi said that America should come and help us because we have failed. So helping us could be military intelligence, could be bringing weapons and so on and so forth, So if they are happy that America has agreed to partner with them, which is the same thing that Peter Obi said, that Donald Trump will come and assist us in curbing this to help us, if we can no longer help ourselves. That is the definition. We can no longer help ourselves. America should come and help us in any way, provided we are out of this quagmire that we are in.
All right, let's look at Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps, Benjamin Carlos, saying any government official who negotiates ransom with terrorists should be penalized.
Well, that is rhetorics. That is rhetorics because they are still paying ransom up to today. At least El-Rufai confirmed it.
Well, the Kaduna State government has told him to actually come and show his proof of saying that they paid 1 billion to terrorists.
So you don't, El-Rufai gets minute by minute information of what the government is doing, because his people are everywhere in the state. He has been in Kaduna. He is the governor for 8 years. So there's nothing that he will come up with that anybody will say that it's not true. And mind you, all these politicians have, they will say one thing in the afternoon, and in the night they go and hold a different meeting. So these politicians are still doing as these government agencies are still paying ransom. They are still paying it, and the only way it could be stopped is when this insecurity stops, because they cannot hold a nation of you and they ask for something and you will not run around to see what you would do, because emotion is attached.
All right, because of our time, let's also look at the Abia State government sealing up President Tinubu's campaign office in Umuahia. That's the Renewed Hope Partners building in Umuahia. Now, the state government says it sealed up the building for violating tax regulations under the Abia State Tax Law number 7 of 2020.
So offense was committed.
But we're yet to hear from the people who are accused of committing this offense, if indeed they committed this offense. These are people who are pushing for the president's re-election. These are people who are working for the president.
They shouldn't pay tax.
Would they really want to do anything to put them in a bad light?
So they shouldn't. But Wike revoked PDP national secretariat in Abuja. So this is a party that want to contest for the presidency of the country. Would they do anything to put themselves in a bad light? So for me, an explanation has been given. They have not paid tax. They should go and pay their tax.
So you don't think that this is targeted, seeing as Governor Abiauti is an opposition governor?
They have not paid tax. They should go and pay their tax. In the other parts of the states,
from a governor, from an
in the other parts of the states,
say that
properties have been demolished. This is sealed. Other states are demolishing properties. Other states are demolishing properties, so that their own was not demolished. So that you don't. You must show that you are more matured than the other. So they say that they do not pay tax. They should go and pay tax.
Should the building be demolished because of tax default?
The one that have been demolished here, what did
they have been demolished do? Where? In Lagos?
Lagos State. What did they do? What did they do?
The government say it was for tax evasion.
What did they do?
It was for other reasons.
Some with CFO, everything in order. So they did not pay tax. Let them go and pay their tax. And the authority is not a vindictive person.
All right, then. Thank you so much for joining us on the World News at 6 this evening. I do appreciate you. But before you go, the PDP state chairmen have declared their loyalty to Turaki, and they're also pledging support for the new National Working Committee. What do you make of this? Atiku finally declared for the ADC. It would seem that the ADC now is one of the strongest opposition coalitions in Nigeria. And recently, the National Conscience Party also aligned with the ADC. Atiku says that the real opposition has begun, while PDP seems to continue to be in disarray.
Well, both factions of PDP are working for the same man in different ways, so we shouldn't take them serious. Both the Turaki and the Nyesom Wike factions are working for the same man, because Turaki is in suspension in KB for anti-party activities. That was why the KB PDP did not attend the convention. So he was suspended for anti-party activities, and it is the same person that they made the national chairman. So the two factions are working for the same man.
Who is?
Bola Tinubu.
So they are working to ensure that the PDP is in total turmoil for 2027.
Make sure that the PDP has a stage 4 cancer, incurable disease.
Do you see the party getting their acts together before 2027 to at least present a presidential candidate? It's for it to remain to be seen just how well.
There will be no candidate. There will be no candidate. Even if there will be somebody that will just put up and will even vote for Tinubu in 2027.
Buba Galadima claims that there may be a plan to not hold elections in 2027, and that's why the APC seems to be trying to get all the governors to their side, to their party.
Well, they have that to change constitution or declare war, because it's only during a state of war that you don't hold the election. Apart from war, there's no other thing. Is
it actually possible that they want to take that risk to not hold elections in 2027, or is Buba Galadima just talking because he's in the opposition?
I say that's unless. If they don't want a nation, then they should declare war. But once there's no war, election must hold.
All right, then. Thank you so much for joining me on the World News at 6 this evening. I appreciate your
Thank you
presence
for having
and
me.
your input. You have been listening to World News at 6 right here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. Just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the top stories again. You heard that Canada has named Nigeria and 16 other African countries in high-risk travel advisory. Bandit strike Kwara community, abduct 11 residents. Deputy Speaker proposes penalty for government officials who negotiate a ransom, and Abia State government seals President Tinubu's campaign office in Umuahia. That's a wrap on the World News at 6 on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. My name is Chioma Innocent. Good evening and thank you for listening. Do stay tuned. The evening rush will come up at exactly 7 p.m.